Good morning. It is the 22nd of October 2019, and in this episode, we're going to watch Bitcoin prices break higher. I always have this question: why do people disagree on technical analysis? Why do people disagree on price direction if technical analysis actually works? Really, it's supposed to work. It's supposed to tell us the direction. If it works, shouldn't we all eventually get the education and agree on it? Anyway, let's jump into it. It's not supposed to work that way. Let's go and see what's going on with the price of Bitcoin right off of this chart pattern. And of course, this isn't trading advice and just a screenshot to say hello to Adrian. Now let's jump into the episode. We are looking at the 1 hour bars of Bitcoin prices here, and I'm just going to quickly scan through our indicator set. Here is the relative strength index. Now, I'm not sure if I'm streaming to the right place. I'm not sure if we are live. So say hello in the chat. Let me know if the sound is good. I don't see that the chat box is working along the side. And this will be the last day I try to fight with that damn thing. I'm going to find a different way to put the chat into the view along the side. All right, let me share this over in our chat. Getting a live stream going, so many little steps. Now, here we are. Jumping into the relative strength index on the 1 hour time frame. I just wanted to start off here with the 1 hour view and zoom out to the volume to see what we're seeing on this 1 hour time frame. And then move into our next indicator set to see that the 1 hour MACD is crossing to the positive. That our Ichimoku cloud, it gave us the most clear signal with the parallel channel that was going on here. 1, 2, 3 bottom, right at the triple bottom level of the 3 touches of death. It's just a place to look for a small formation. We had a long signal here. We're still up and good. And there was an enormous amount of fear and uncertainty and doubt as this very incredibly small price movement happened, which really shouldn't take that much of our attention. Unless you're trading super high leverage at close ranges, this shouldn't really wake you up at night. Let's go over to the Bollinger Bands. So here we see that it did cross. Watching how this is double bottoming and what's it doing across the center line as my chart formations are planning out. Right, here's our parallel channel down. Here's our 1, 2, 3 bottom at the point of the 3 touches of death. That's a place to watch for a reversal. And so I'm watching to see what is the Bollinger Bands doing. How is it crossing over through my original trading signal? So then I can use this maybe to filter in more of these kind of reversals that normally wouldn't be part of my game plan. This one fits in because of the 1, 2, 3s and the time frame and all sorts of things that combine. But the Bollinger Bands are new to me. So I'm going to go back now to the beginning that we've gone in just to take a look at the close range view and start to zoom out here because this is looking more positive in the weekly relative strength index. So long as this continues to keep an upward angle, then I do believe we're building on something important, like a super long-term trend line that, remember my conspiracy theory, we're coming up and then down to 58. Maybe the RSI will come up and then be still above this line when we hit 58. And that kind of divergence is not unusual for us to see something like, almost parallel channel and a long time where this divergence set up. That was months of time for that divergence to set up. And so we could really see my pattern in the chart and this pattern in the RSI and the weekly RSI, which would be insane at that 5,800 level. So that is a cool one. I wish I wouldn't have cleared that off. I wish I would have tweeted that picture out. Let's zoom in to this time frame now, because now what we're watching really is for examples of this kind of divergence and what happened next. Lots of sideways. Who knows? So anyway, it looks like it's breaking up above these levels for this parallel channel that we're sitting into here as well. So this gets it to be a parallel channel and the divergence in the RSI. Now zoom in more. Let's go to the 12 hour. Still looking good. If the RSI is breaking above these levels as we're taken out from here, it's verification. So I have a chart pattern that I look for, and we go through the verification of these different indicators so that they all match together. Let's zoom back out now. And we're looking for the volume pattern. What is going on with this volume pattern? Because of what happened in the past, we're looking for something similar in the current time frame with the volume pattern. I'm watching for that volume pattern to go up to the positive from here. It's still trickling negative all the way along here. So I don't get it, because that's a overall selling on the 1 day view. But when we get into the 12-hour view, we can start to see more of the divergence of this selling that's going on here. I have my icons along the top are in a different order. So anyway, here we have dumping and less dumping while we have a parallel bottom. So I've watched that for a long time to identify it as a divergence that means a big move is coming. Usually we can tell which direction just from the change of dumping, but it's not 100% because it's not a predictor. It shows what is happening. So to use it as a predictor is sort of, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. So now in the weekly view, I got to zoom in on these histogram 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, and it's actually pulling back. So long as this keeps shortening, that's really good. That's like really good. If it continued to shorten and we get across, if it continues to shorten and we get across while we're getting up to this $9,600 level, then I change my tune and I really do expect that we're going to melt through the range just like we did through this range here. This is world transforming technology while the world's economy is collapsing and trillions of dollars are floating around not knowing where to go. I think there is going to be some panic buying into the institutions and we're going to see something insane, but I do believe it's going to go to 5,800 first. Let's see how my conspiracy theory goes. Now, zooming into the daily time frame, this is giving a better divergence along this double bottom here. We can see that this is crossed to the positive early in our bottom formation. It is still gaining momentum, and those are positive histograms going on there. 12-hour time frame. Wobbly, but that's okay because it's crossed positive as we made this parallel channel 1, 2, 3 formation and it started to break out. That crossed positive on the 12-hour. That's not kid stuff. That's really, this is putting these things together is what makes technical analysis work. And I do believe we can actually predict which direction it's going. But it's not the only part that you need in your trading. In fact, it's probably not the most important part, knowing your entries and your exits. If you would agree with me that it is not the most important part of trading, put a yes in the chat. Hey, Venton Migto, oh my God, the celebrity is in the house. Men going their own way, Migto. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but great to see you along. To the moon. I see Maurice is here and Cyril. Good to have you along again. Adrian. Hope you liked my reveal there on the disclaimer. I think we're in equilibrium. I don't see anything bullish or bearish. Keep watching. Yeah. I have zero confidence in the direction of the market. I'm pretty confident that they're... Well, the thing is, it's not the entries and exits. That's only part of the story. And I'll tell the rest of that story later. Let's get into this. It's crossing to the negative and holding itself. If this blue line crosses back up above the red, then we are going to see some great stuff going on. This is going to be stepping up, and it'll give me a lot more bullish view. If that crosses forward as we're stepping up, I may have to abort my conspiracy theory of us coming back down to these levels. It's such a small little wobble that it's almost crazy to be talking about that I think it's going to wobble. Of course it's going to, but let's see. Let's zoom in now to the 1 day time frame because this isn't twisting to the positive yet. Always got to drag the chart over for the Ichimoku because it extends out past the present. So as I zoom in on this, what I'm looking for specifically is the blue line crossing the red. Hey, thanks for the tip. I appreciate it. I think that's the very first tip I've got on this channel since it gave me the monetization. That's fantastic. I've got to hook up the light show so that it gives a notification. Let me continue on. Cross to the positive here. This is what I look for. It's the 1, 2, 3 formation. It is within the trend. So after we've pulled back to about the 50% level, do I have my fib retracement? Back to the 50% level. This is all stuff that it's all written out ahead of time. So to come up and point out this stuff is something that's written in the trading plan ahead of time. We get a move up, it comes back to the 50% level, makes a 1, 2, 3 formation. This is the add-on signal that I look for. Let's see. 1 day time frame, 12 hour. Okay, reading the Ichimoku cloud from time frame to time frame is important because it's different from time frame to time frame, and I want to see it unfold from day to day so that I get familiar with those differences. It is immensely boring, but it is part of trading that you do the same thing day after day after day. It's the little things that you do repeatedly that build up. So, just observing what's going on here, I'm waiting for the blue to cross above the red. Let's zoom in. 4 hour time frame. It has crossed above the red. So this is already looking better. This is already a buy signal setting up. It's not a completed buy signal in the Ichimoku, but this is the beginnings of it. We have the trailing indicator cut through everything. We've got a twist to the positive. The blue has crossed over the red. We only need it to poke up through the cloud for it to confirm the finish of that buy signal on the 4 hour time frame. But if we go into the 1 hour time frame and drag this chart over, I don't know what I have for drawings here, a mess. We can see that it gave us the signal at the same time as my parallel channel 1, 2, 3 bottom, just without any technical indicators. And so you got a pattern in the chart that you look for that is a retest of a recent higher low. This is what we're looking for. And then we start adding in the indicators to give us verification. So now we've seen verification in the 1 hour Ichimoku. We've seen verification in the 12 hour MACD. We've seen verification in overall in the relative strength index for many different time frames. And then of course we're adding in the Bollinger bands here to just, I don't know, just to get an idea of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is also at Heiken Ashi. So if we go to candles, watch this right here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of these type of candles going on here, exhaustion wicks. I go to regular candles and they look completely different. And so sometimes the Heiken Ashi view is really important to add in there. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks off of these solid levels, I don't think it's going to be staying sideways long. Let's zoom in on this to see, because we're in a very, on the daytime, we're in a very close neck, and we didn't see this yesterday, that it is crossed from bouncing off the bottom to cross the 50% line, the halfway line in that Bollinger Band. I don't know, but in the 12-hour time frame, it's gone more sideways, more parallel neck. It's crossed over that, which for me, a crossover is got to be something, right? Every time it crosses over, it's a noise. So when I'm adding it together with something bigger, and we see this, I think it's looking like it'll give me another buy signal on the breakout here. Probably every bot in the world is at the same time too, so we should see something pretty important move off of that. This is the thing with artificial intelligence. It doesn't really, it's not sophisticated enough yet. I don't know, of course, but they're all learning the same thing. They all learn the Bart Simpson pattern, and then they're all piling on at the same time. So it's making market extremes even worse for us, because So it's even more important for us to take smaller positions, wider range stops on these things. Very important to your risk controls at the very first stage of the trade. But this is bounced off of the 4-hour Bollinger Band, came up across way earlier, and I was watching to see it stay stuck right along the side. You know, like we see over here, it just went stuck right to the side all the way along. So I'm waiting for that to stick right along the top of the front edge once it gets. So I don't know, as it pulls away from that, I'm just observing, and I want your input on this. So on the 1-hour time frame, this is all matching up, so that when we have this pattern in the charts, the 1, 2, 3 bottom at the bottom of a parallel channel, we have the 3 touches of death. All of those things point out to that spot for me. Then you'd use your risk control rules to, if it doesn't prove you right, you don't hold it. Now that it's got up above my entry, it's always easy to go back and point out the confirming things for this specific signal. And that is what technical analysis is. And if everybody was looking at the same thing, I don't know why we don't all get the same. I don't get it, really. Boom. Let's see. I see only one thumbs up, and it's mine. Well, it's okay, the stats. The thing I want to hear is your success stories and your profits. And I know that this takes a long time. It takes months. So if you had been watching regularly in February, and we had the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, then the 12-hour exponential moving average crossed over, and I was talking about all of the indicators screaming up, like we would have been in good stead, but I couldn't have heard your success story until after the 12-hour EMA crossed over, and you said, wow. And then the success story isn't really relevant until now, and we say, wow, that was phenomenal how this all actually went. It takes a long time. This is another reason that the technical analysis is difficult, is that most people are zoomed in. Let me find it. To see what's actually going on in the prices, right? Zooming into the 1-minute time frame, and we're just getting chewed up. The more you zoom in, the more whale food you are. The more you step back and you get your risk control rules so that you really do them habitually, the better everything goes. Now, let me go back to the chat. 17 minutes. I think we've gone through everything here. I don't have the other charts prepared, actually, for the Bitcoin dominance. And I don't have the bull market watch spreadsheet up yet for the altcoins. Oh, here it is over here. And we actually see a little tick up of new alert coins ranging now. Let me drag, oh, I can't, well, let's see how this goes. Drag this down. And where did this one go? Drag this down. So this is the bull market watch spreadsheet. We have 7 new exits today on Binance. I haven't done Poloniex yet. We have 30 hold markets. Still, we have 30 hold markets. After all of this confusion, there are 30 markets out of the 150 or so on Binance that stayed in hold stance. Many of them are up more than 20% in our Pro Alerts package. Let me go to the Binance wins. And we have 14 that are still above 20% profit in our wins trade column. So look at 80% profit, 22% profit. This is all from our Pro Alerts package. And this is our basic package where you can start to see exactly which coins I've just changed to new alert status. So we're starting to see a change in the coins again here where the alert statuses are picking up and the neutrals are dropping back. That's bullish. I like to see it. So we'll have to see what's going on with alts, and it's going to depend on Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin dominance has actually broken a trend line here, and that's not good because it's on another parallel channel here, another trend line rather, all the way along this level. And so 1, 2, 3 touches of death. I'll be very careful with all of the alts right now and be watching for the top formation in them. Because if Bitcoin is going to be taking off from where it is and do a move up to 98, probably the alts are going to panic and pull back. Bitcoin dominance will rise to the 68, 69% level. But if it's passing the 67, this will tell us our exponential moving averages will cross over, and it'll tell us to get out of which, it'll tell us which coins to get out of. We'll see those exit status coins weakening off, and we'll only hold on to the ones that are holding us a profit. Some of them may come down to technical levels and kick us out at a profit. That's all good. Now, zoom back into the 1-day view, and we'll just continue to keep our eye on this while it's doing what it's doing. After we've got a profitable trade, it's no longer our job. Our job is to protect ourselves against losses when we first put on a trade. That's our job, is the risk control right at the beginning. Once you have your stop loss above your entry, your job is finished. And the more you overwork this part of the trade, the worse you do. It's not your job. It's the market's job now. And stop micromanaging. Over on our Discord chat, I just got an OBS reconnection successful notice. Anyway, I will sign off. And tomorrow I'll have the live stream chat set up differently so that I draw it in and it can't fuck up. Cheers for now. Bye.